Are we on? I guess we're on.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to our Kids in the Kitchen segment brought to you by the South Texas Literacy Coalition. This is our effort at trying to promote health literacy. And today we've got some great recipes for you. And with me on the show is one of our board members, Lauda McDermott. Hi, Lauda.
Hey, good morning.
And she's live all the way from Laguna Vista. So you get to see the beautiful bay over there and all that stuff. So I wish we were there. Okay.
I wish you were here too. It's a beautiful day.
Great, great. Well, today we're going to do a couple of recipes that really complement each other. And we didn't really say, oh, I'm going to do this, so you do that, or whatever. It just happened. And Laura and I have been friends for a very, very long time. And we do that. Sometimes she lived away and we didn't talk for months. And when we pick up the phone and talk to each other, it's just like we had talked yesterday, right? So we have that kind of connection. And some people do, and that's great. If you have a friend like that, that's great. Let's see who's on. Melba. Hello, Prima. How are you doing? Glad that you're on. Hope that you will share this. Today, I'm going to do something from the Disney Princess Cookbook. Now, unfortunately, we don't have this in our inventory. I did order it on Amazon, and I said, I'm going to try that book. And so I was inspired by the Disney Princess Cookbook to do a recipe today. And for the next few weeks, some from here, so that y'all can be inspired as well. And so one of the things I did want to tell you about is that, and everybody's repeating it, we're all getting back to semi-normal, but that doesn't mean that the masks go away. That doesn't mean that you don't wash your hands a million times a day. And that doesn't mean that you don't social distance. All of that is still in place, okay? You got to do that. It's very, very important. Just as a statistic, Texas about a week and a half ago was in the green, which meant that we were holding steady. We didn't have any new cases come up. And all of a sudden, Texas with at least 20 other states are in the red. And so they're trying to see what the effects of Memorial Day weekend, when everybody and their brother went to the beach and was right next to each other. And of course, at the beach, you don't want to wear a mask, but you should. But it's hard. I know that. But, we haven't seen yet what's going to happen with that, except that steadily cases are going up. So please, if you need to go out, wear your mask, stay home, continue to shelter at home. The reason that we're bringing you these recipes is so that you can cook together at home. We bring you lots of nutrition information. And so, we've got to do this for everybody, okay? Not just to protect yourself, but to protect everybody else. And so I just wanted to say that because that's part of our health literacy message, that we want to be able to stay healthy. And, I heard something that really disturbed me yesterday about a couple of people that were sick and that were seemingly in very good health, just in great health. And, they tested positive. They're in the hospital right now with the coronavirus. And one of the things that happens with the coronavirus is you have a lot of trouble breathing. And that's when they put you on a ventilator and that kind of thing. Let's see who's on. Maria. Hi, Maria. Glad you're on. And so, just want you to be aware of that. You can get outside in the backyard and do some things. Relax, get out and watch the birds, watch whatever. I know the mosquitoes are out there, but when it's really hot, if you have a patio, you can be out there for a little bit. Clean out the patio, wet it down and wet yourself down, and then you'll be okay. Have a little fun, but be really, really careful and just watch the social distancing. So I want to say hi to my granddaughter, Alyssa Marie Perez in San Antonio, and my son Jay and my daughter-in-law Tanya. So glad y'all are on and watching. And so we're going to get started. Okay, so we're going to do a recipe, as I mentioned, for you, those of you that just got on, from the Disney Princess Cookbook, but it's got recipes for all of us. It's got good stuff. Now, this is called Belle's corn chowder. And Belle is Belle from Beauty and the Beast, okay? And so she served the Beast, her prince. Let me see if I can find it here. The corn chowder, and so it's a great recipe, and I want to share it with you because let's see, it's right around here. I have it typed up because here we go. There's Belle and the Beast, and they're eating corn chowder. Okay, and there's our corn chowder recipe. Now, what's the difference between a chowder and a soup? Okay, a chowder is a type of soup. Now, a chowder generally is more creamy, a little bit thicker, and a soup has more of a broth and is a little bit thinner. So that's the only difference. And you say, well, soup in the summertime, yeah, it's good stuff. You eat hot stuff all the time. We had macaroni and cheese in a cup last time. So we're going to start off with our recipe. Our recipe says that we do, now I did half of the recipe yesterday because I wanted to show you, and I've got it in a skillet over here in a little pot. You see that? And so, because I wanted to do half of it. So I'm going to do half of a recipe today. It does make a lot, but you can half the recipe if it's only a few people. And we're going to start off with an onion and a red potato. And you don't peel the red potato because the red potato has a lot of good stuff in it. And what did I do with my knife? It's over here. So we're going to cut, it says, cut the onion into 1/2 inch pieces. And I wondered about that. And I think it's because if you don't like onion a lot, you can pull it out easily. But you can use dehydrated onion, you can use onion powder. And so there's our onion. First thing that we're going to do, though, is we're going to get some butter melting in our little saucepan here. And this little saucepan kind of overflowed a little bit. Now, remember last time I told you that the butter or the margarine has all of the measurements here by tablespoon. 8 tablespoons is half a cup is 1 stick. So we're going to have, it asks for 2 tablespoons. Since I'm making half the recipe, I'm going to do 1. So you can just cut it right at that line and you're all set to go. So we're going to put this in our pan and let it melt. It's doing well. And we're going to add, I'm going to cut this onion a little bit more just because I like onion, and onion is good for you. Let me melt this up a little bit more. And we're going to cook this until the onion turns clear, okay? It's going to turn clear. In the meantime, we're going to cut our potato in bite-sized pieces. And so I like to cut it this way first, and then kind of in thirds, each oval. And then you can cut them in smaller pieces. So this does have potato. This is a soup that's very hearty. One secret is that you can add chicken to this, and it makes it very, very tasty if you wanted to have like a meal in one pot type of thing. And it's good served year-round. Belle's corn chowder, that's what we're preparing right now. So we're going to let this cook a little bit. We're going to speed it up. And I'm going to go ahead and put the potatoes in here. And I'm going to put a little salt and a little pepper. And remember I told you when you have a bland food, it's good to put the seasonings on that food first. Now, I want to tell you one thing. I mentioned to you that the difference between a chowder and a soup is that a chowder is more creamy and thicker and so on. I noticed in this recipe, it does not ask for flour, okay? But I'm going to add about 1/2 tablespoon of flour because the one I made yesterday, although it was very good, my son Michael was here and he got to taste it and he said, "This is good." I said, "Don't eat it all. I need it for my finished product." So I'm going to put this over this, and it's going to cook all together. And then it asks that we add water. It asks for 1 cup. I'm making half a cup because I'm doing half of the recipe. So we get that nice and hot, and it's going to continue to cook, okay? Now, we're going to use 2 types of corn. One thing that I didn't add, and I'm going to add it in a bit, is garlic, okay? You can use fresh garlic, or I like to use this squeeze garlic. It's minced in extra light virgin olive oil. And although you can do this, squeeze it out, I'm going to put a little bit of garlic in here as well. So you see, you can do your own thing, okay? I just like a little more flavor. And if you don't, it's okay, you know. But this is my recipe. I'll probably end up eating it, right? So I'm going to get this going. And I'm going to increase the temperature just so that it'll speed up a little bit. And go. Now, we're using 2 different types of corn. We're using whole kernel corn, and when the corn is in season, like it is and will be soon, even more, you can take your fresh corn and put it in here. And the way you do it is you take your stalk, you can cook it first like corn on the cob, and then take that corn on the cob, turn it on its end, and then slice the corn off, you know, and then you'll have fresh corn, and it's even better that way. But this is whole kernel corn, and it also asks for the cream style, okay? And some children like cream style. My kids like cream style corn. It was more creamy, and it does add creaminess to this corn chowder. It asks for some milk, and we've already put the salt and pepper. I'm going to put a little bit more garlic powder as we go, and then we're going to, you know, then garnish it and put it in our plate. But you can see it's starting to steam there, okay? So we're going to continue. Again, this, you should let it cook about 15 minutes like this, but you don't have to, like I'm going to do, because I'm going to speed things up. I'm going to add my whole kernel corn to that, and the cream corn.
Dr. Ida, I was just thinking it would be a great way to use a pre-made baked potato that you have left over, and that
Absolutely, yes. You can do that. And again, if you leave the skin on, it has a lot of fiber and it has a lot of minerals. Now, of course, you've got to wash those things. And let me give you a tip while I'm doing that. My potatoes, I just come home and I put them in a colander. I've got the colander in there, so there's air circulation. And right before I use them, I wash them and I dry them off. Now, if you buy packaged spinach, carrot sticks, you know, whatever, I recommend that you take it out of that package and put it in a Ziploc bag. Let me show you. You know that I like spinach, right? And I'm trying to eat really healthy right now. So I took it out of the bag that it came in and put it in a clean Ziploc bag, okay? And it seems to keep a little bit longer, okay? Just because that package has traveled a distance to get to you, and so, you know, you want to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lotta.
No, just saying that's a really good idea. Thanks for sharing that. We try to make our products that we bring from home, from the store, we want them to last a little bit longer. And so if that'll do that, that's a really good tip. Thank you for that.
So we've added this. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. I'm just going to put it in my hand. I did wash my hands, by the way. just for flavor. Smelling good in here. And of course, this particular dish right now on top of the stove is not going to be ready in time, but we put in our onion and our potatoes and sauteed those in butter. And you do that and add a cup of water for the entire recipe, or half a cup if you're doing half. And add your flour. And I recommend about half to 1 tablespoon of flour, just regular flour. And then we let that cook for about 15 minutes. Then you add your corns, the whole kernel, and the cream corn, the milk, garlic powder if you like, and then just let it cook. Okay, let it all heat through. I'm going to leave this on about 15 minutes because it's, we speeded it up. But I do have the finished product, and I want to show you that. I'm going to ladle it into a soup mug. Okay, last time we talked about great big mugs. This is one of the soup mugs that I have. And our chowder is ready. So we're going to put it right in here. And as I said, this one didn't come out as creamy, as thick as I had wanted it to, because I didn't see the flour in there and I missed it on that first try. So you put your chowder in there, add a little salad and some crackers. Now it does say to garnish with some bacon bits.
Okay. Looks delicious.
And I'm going to also put a little bit of chives over the top, just to make it, because remember what we said, if it looks good and you say, yummy, you want to be able to, it smells great, it looks good, and it's going to taste good. So we've got some rice crackers here, one of Laura's favorites. She came over to my house one time and we had a whole box of rice crackers because they were so good. And that's by HEB, by the way. And HEB is one of our sponsors. And thank you, HEB, with their Read 3 literacy program, because we are partners in trying to promote literacy. So we got a little spinach salad there and our corn chowder, and we're ready to go. Okay.
That looks delicious. Dr. Ida, do you think we could make that in the full recipe and maybe freeze it? So often you can find the soups already in containers at the grocery store, and they're so expensive.
Absolutely. And I would say that you could freeze it in serving sizes. This particular recipe, I believe, serves 6 people. And so you could have 6 different containers that you could freeze it in, take it out as you need it. It makes a great lunch that you can take with you. And if the container is microwave safe, you can take it to lunch and eat it there. It is very hearty. Okay. And I said, you can add chicken. If you have leftover rotisserie chicken, you can put chicken in there and heat it all up together and make a very nutritious lunch, very hearty. It stays with you. And, it didn't take a whole lot to put that together. If you bought this already made, frozen, it would probably run between $8 and $10. Okay, why? Because of the effort that I've done in putting it together, time spent in electricity, getting it to cook, whatever. And we've been here 15 minutes and, it's almost done. So it's doing its thing here on the stove. And so it's great. You'll enjoy it.
I sure wish we had smell-o-vision.
I know. So Laura has a recipe, and there's a recipe in here that I consider doing. It's Bell's baguettes, and their baguette is a hard bread, and a long, thin hard bread. Comes from the bag, French cooking and that kind of thing. But she's got an even easier recipe that will go great with this in lieu of the crackers. Okay, you want to tell us all about it?
I sure do. I recently found this recipe, and it's just been such an easy and great hit, actually. And you only need 2 ingredients. And today I'll be using the HEB brand Self-Rising flour. And you've got to be sure that it says Self-Rising on the outside. And a 5-pound bag of this cost about $2.45 over at HEB. And the other product I'll be using is Greek yogurt. This is plain Greek yogurt. It costs about $2.45 at the grocery store. So these are the only 2 ingredients that will be used for the bread. The other item I'll be using is I'll be using 1 egg, and I'll whip that up a little bit. I'll whisk that up a little bit, and then I'll be brushing that on top of our bread. So it's a very easy recipe, and I was really excited when I found it. And just recently, I noticed it was on Good Morning America. They were providing a little show on how to eat inexpensively, cook inexpensively, and make your food as hearty as you can. So
I just want to say, if you can't do something with 2 ingredients, you have issues, okay?
yeah.
Call us and we'll help you. Let's see who else is on. Kendra Garcia. Hi, Kendra. And Maria Elena Valle. Melissa Pacheco Loftus, and Leticia Olvera. So thank you all for being on. So go ahead, Laura. Show us how to do that. I'm excited because I want to do that after this show.
Sure. Okay. Well, I do need to if there's kids watching and they're going to be making this, I need to remind them that this type of cup is designed for liquids. So the type of cup that we want today is what we use for solids. And I'm going to be using this type of a measurement. And I've got a measuring cup in here already. And usually you could just place your hand on the side of the bag and that'll help you to level it off. But if not, you can use a spatula with a straight end, or you could also use a knife with a straight edge. So here we have our 1 cup of flour. I'm going to place that into a bowl. And on the other side here, I have 1 cup of the Greek yogurt. And again, you're going to use a straight edge knife or spatula to level this off. You want to be sure that
the plain Greek yogurt.
Just plain Greek yogurt.
Okay.
So I'm going to place this into the bowl, and I'll have both ingredients here. And something about the chemistry of these 2 items, once you've get that mixing, it's going to form into a dough. This should be great for kids. They should have a lot of fun with this. And this week I am going to make rolls, and I'm also going to be making a pizza dough. And I will not be here next week, but 2 weeks from now, I will be teaching you how to use the same recipe and make it into pretzels and also bagels. So if you don't have the ingredients today, maybe you can work on it for 2 weeks from now. So we can prepare this. So you're going to stir this up. And if you need to, you get your hands in there and work that up. Right here, I do have the dough that I made right before the show started. And you're going to knead it for about 2 minutes. And if you remember your grandmother in the kitchen years ago, they were amasando with the flour tortillas. That's what I did with those 2 ingredients. I worked them in, and I kept a little bit of extra flour on the side so that it gets a little sticky. You could just dust the flour on there and continue to work it. Well, the combination of both of those ingredients makes this is about a 2-cup serving. So,
okay, we had a question from Melissa. Does all-purpose flour work?
No. This particular recipe is for self-rising flour because it has additional ingredients in there that help the rising process. So
right, and you can make your own. Just Google it. How do I make self-rising flour from regular flour? However, it's not does not produce as tender a product as the regular self-rising flour because I know there's a secret ingredient in there. They add cream of tartar or maybe arrowroot besides the salt and the baking soda to make it rise. Yeah.
Okay, the consistency of this is extremely soft. It feels really, really nice. I'd like to compare it to probably a baby's bottom. It's just really nice and soft. So after I've got that dough just exactly the way I'd want, I'm going to go ahead and get a metal baking dish. And on here I have placed a piece of parchment paper. And to make the rolls, it just depends what kind of roll you want to make. I decided I want to make some mini slider rolls so that I can make some mini hamburgers. And I went ahead and flour dusted a 1/4 cup measuring just so I could start to get these about the same size. So I'm going to place the dough in there just so I could get them all about the same size. And I made some of these yesterday, and I was able to make 8 out of 1 recipe. So you could just roll these in your hand, and the kids would have a ball with these. And then place them onto your parchment paper. And again, you can make them big enough for hamburger buns, but today I'm going to make them into mini slider rolls. So because this is dusted, it'll come right out.
And the parchment paper has come into its own now. A lot of recipes recommended for easy cleanup, you know. You wipe down your pan a little bit. But if you've got cookies and things like that, you just keep those. Some of them come, and they're more expensive if they come already cut, but you can buy the roll and cut it yourself and just bake away.
Yes. So I'm going to continue and make the rest of these, but with one of these, you can make 8 rolls. And I'm going to show you the finished product here. These are the ones I made last night.
Oh, yeah.
And out of 1 recipe, you can make 5 of these and 1 pizza dough, or you can make 8 of these, or you can make 3 to 4 pizza doughs. So these are the rolls. There were a few more, but I don't know what happened to the rest.
Well, as I said, they would pair well with the corn chowder recipe, because you generally have a chowder or a soup, a salad, and a bread, and that makes a good lunch or dinner.
With this same recipe, I have extended it into a pizza dough. And I flattened it out and made it into, it looks like a naan bread actually. And I stretched it out, and this I made alongside the other rolls that I made. So I made 5 rolls and 1 pizza dough, or you could make 4 of these pizza doughs. So I baked it slightly for 5 minutes at a 375-degree temperature. And so now, at this point, you're going to break an egg into a cup, whip it up a little bit with a fork, and then you're going to dip a brush into here and just lightly brush the top of your rolls with the egg mixture.
Now, I was going to add, when you say you can get 4 pizza doughs from it, is that like a personal size pizza or a little or a medium or?
I would be about this size right here.
Okay.
You could also make 1 large or 2 mediums. It would just depend, but these can also freeze really well. And again, I baked for about 5 minutes just so I could get a shape. At this point, I'm going to either drizzle with olive oil, with pizza sauce, with whatever I may want to, and all my toppings, and place it back into the oven.
One thing that you could do as well is use a garlic butter and cut them in pizza triangles, but put them back in the oven and let them toast, and that makes a good, bread as well.
That's a great idea. You that have your own herb garden, Ida, you could definitely put your chives into this, add some cheese, add whatever other your favorite ingredients are. Really fun rolls.
Flatbread.
Buns out of this, and made them a little larger. So this recipe has lots of versatility. It's super easy. And the bag of flour with a container of yogurt was right over $5. And I can definitely get 4 recipes out of that container of yogurt and lots more out of this bag of flour. So that is my recipe for today. And I'm really excited because it's so easy and it's so much fun.
I love it. Yeah. So I know that each one of you all, let's see who came on. Marisa Carrizales came on. Hi, Marisa. And I know that y'all can do these easily. Get your children involved. Remember, wash your hands. The kitchen and the bathroom are 2 of the dangerous parts of our house. Everything is nowadays, but those two. And so you have to start with a clean surface, clean hands, clean everything. And the better your ingredients, the better your product will come out. But you can always save. We told you that you can save about a fourth to a third of the cost of what you would pay for something if you make it yourself. Now, one thing that I didn't mention last week when we were doing the microwave, and somebody asked me this question: how much faster does the microwave cook than normal conventional cooking? It's a fourth of the time. For example, if you had to simmer this, oops, I'm boiling over. If you had to simmer this for 20 minutes, then 5 minutes in the microwave would be fine. So, it's a fourth of the time. And you work the microwave in seconds, not minutes, okay? I had my sons one time put a biscuit in for a minute and the thing came out like a hockey puck. So, what happened? This microwave's no good, whatever. I said, you used too much time. You only needed to do about 10 seconds to warm it up. So anyway, my chowder is going crazy over here. And so ready for lunch. We hope that you have enjoyed the recipes today. We did Bell's corn chowder and easy bread and pizza dough and rolled dough. And so thank you, Lada, for sharing that great thing. I want to try it. I'm going to go get the ingredients and I'm going to try it. I have some self-rising flour here all the time. And so we hope that you all enjoyed it. The recipes are available in our discussion segment. And be sure and share the page and share the video with your friends so they can enjoy, cooking at home as well. Have a great weekend. It says, Melissa says, can you please repeat how much yogurt to how much flour and the oven temperature and time?
Okay, I'll be happy to. The oven temperature is 375. And again, you can find this recipe on our website. And it is 1 cup of the plain Greek yogurt mixed with exactly 1 cup of self-rising flour. And be sure the word self-rising is there because it has additional ingredients that help the dough rise to the consistency that you want for our bread.
And this is an easy way to yeast-looking bread without having to proof the yeast and let it rise and then punch it down and knead it some more and let it rise some more. This was super easy. And as I said, if you can't do something with 2 ingredients, you got issues. Okay, so we're trying to help you with those and hope that you enjoy it. Have a great weekend, a safe weekend. I will see you here next week. Laura has a previous engagement, but we'll do a couple of recipes from our Disney Princess Cookbook for all you princesses out there, and princesses and princes, okay, boys and girls, because all this is good stuff, okay? So I hope that you will enjoy that and be sure and share it so other people can join us. Have a great weekend and we'll see you next Friday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Enjoy.